and welcome back. It is a new year, so that means it is time for a new reading journal setup. So I started doing a reading journal in June of 2024, and I used this really cute notebook for it. I only got through like this many pages, so I'm just gonna do my 2025 reading journal in the same notebook because that would be such a waste to start a new one, and I really like the feel of this one and the pages. Like, I'm just gonna stick with this one. So I wanted to show you guys my completed 2024 reading journal, all the spreads, all the stats, and then we are going to finish setting up my 2025 reading journal. I've already done quite a few of the spreads, but there are a few that I held off so that we could do them together, and that is what we are going to do. So before we get into 2025, let's take a look at 2024. This was the basic little cover page that I did for 2024. Here we have my first two spreads of the year. This was my bookshelf that I was supposed to fill in every single book that I read in 2024. I loved the idea, really hated my execution, and I did not even complete it. This does not have all of the books that I read this year. It has most of them because I think I finally gave up on this spread in, I would say, November. So it has most, but not all, and I will not be doing this spread again next year. Like I said, loved the concept, really did not love my execution. Then we have one of my favorite spreads of the year, which was my book bingo. I had so much fun with this. I've said it before in this channel, I will be doing this spread again. I just had so much fun. In the beginning, I wasn't really reading specific books to check off the boxes, but as the year got closer to the end of the year, I definitely did treat this kind of like a scavenger hunt and let it kind of guide the books that I was choosing. So I definitely am doing this spread again. Next, we have my A to Z reading challenge. This was quite a lot of fun. But I'm not sure I'm going to be doing it again. I love the layout, and honestly, I did pretty well. The only ones that I missed were Q, V, X, and Z, which I had a feeling that I wasn't going to get to Q, X, and Z. V, I definitely had a chance to get. I started so many books that started with V and just DNF'd them because I just wasn't feeling it. And I have decided not to do this spread again next year, not because I didn't like it, but I have something that I'm replacing it with that I think is going to be a lot of fun. This was my DNF graveyard. I did not intend on doing this spread right here. I just kind of forgot what I was going to do, so I threw in the DNF graveyard, and I think this is cute, but it's definitely harder for me to track the books that I DNF, so I will not be redoing this spread, but I think it was a cute idea, having little gravestones and marking the percent that I got through before giving up. This was my series tracker. Again, fun idea, didn't love my execution, and will not be redoing this spread. I also misspelled tracker. I forgot the C, but we can just ignore that. This is my year in reading. Both of these pages I did update as the year went on, and I had so much fun with them. This one was tracking how many books I read each month, and this tracked the ratings that I gave each month. And then for this spread, every single day that I read, I colored it in, and as you can see, my best reading month by far was October. I only missed one day, so that was pretty fun. You can also tell when it hit like June is when I really started taking reading seriously this year, because I started doing my reading journal, and that's also when I started this channel. So in the beginning of the month, I was really just focused on school. I'm a teacher, so during the year it was really hard for me to find time to read, and then I started taking it seriously when summer hit, and I was able to keep up that momentum into this new school year. Okay, I honestly don't even want to show you guys these pages because I didn't know what I was doing. This is my first spread, and June was not a reading month in terms of like this journal. I wanted to treat it like a habit tracker, so I'm just going to quickly flip through them because I am pretty embarrassed by them and I don't love them. But this is my calendar where I was tracking some habits. And then I have another habit tracker. Done with that. I loved this July spread. I think it's so cute, all the little flowers. And here we get into actually tracking my reading. So these were all the books that I read or started or finished, whatever, in July. And then I absolutely loved this spread. I had so much fun with it. And I tracked how many pages I read each day. This was a lot harder for me to track. I had to use Storygraph. So I use Goodreads, Storygraph, and Fable, which gets a little bit overwhelming sometimes, but I love the data that it produces, so it's worth it for me. And then this was my little July wrap up. Very, very proud of my August spread, and here's where you're gonna see a theme start. I just did the same 3 spreads every single month, so I'm not gonna spend too much time on them. I'm just gonna quickly flip through them. But this was my August cover, my wrap up, and then I did do the pages read again, but this time I added in a calendar showing how much time calendar wise was spent reading each book. And this is the spread that I kept for the rest of the year. This is my fun little fall September spread or cover. My wrap up. I love these leaves. I spent so much time on this one. I'm so proud of it. And then the calendar and pages read tracker. October was spooky month, so I have a cute little cover page. My wrap up. This is a cake because my birthday is in October. Same spreads. So proud of this cover. I think it's so cute and it was so fun to do. My wrap up. And then look at this December one. Again, so cute. All of my spreads and cover pages, pretty much everything you see in here I got off of Pinterest. I'm really not a creative person, but I can copy things pretty well. So I live on Pinterest for all inspiration. My wrap up, look how cute that wreath is. And my calendar and pages read. Now we're getting into my kind of yearly wrap-up spreads. So I love this page. It's my monthly stats, so by each month. Oh, and I forgot to label what these actually are. But up at the top is how many books I read versus how many pages I read, so you can kind of turn it sideways and read that a little bit better. But I thought that was super fun. Then I have my 2024 at a glance. I really did not think this through when I made it. As you can see, I labeled all of the days in January and nowhere else because writing that was so hard. My hand was already cramping just writing all the numbers there because again, I did this page after this one and after finishing up my December spread, so I was already tired. I do like this and I'm probably gonna do it again, but I think I'm just going to have the boxes and do it kind of like I did here, where I only label the numbers that I'm coloring in. And what this is representing is each day that I completed a book. So in January, I finished 3 books. February, I only finished 1, and so on. So you can see, November, I finished a lot of books. July, I finished a lot of books. June, I finished a lot. So I think this is just another way to kind of see all of the data. And I will be redoing this, but like I said, only labeling the days that I actually finished a book. Talk about another one that took me so stinking long. So this is my, again, data for each book that I read. I read 54 books in 2024, and I broke it down by genre, page length, and my rating. So theoretically, you could look and say, oh, the first book that I read of the year was a fantasy. It was between 400 and 500 pages, and I gave it a 1 star. And the idea is you can kind of line them all up and just look, But I really do love this, and I will be doing this again next year. This is one of the spreads that I'm not going to set up until the end of the year because I don't know how many books I'm gonna read, and I really like that it made a perfect box. I also, in theory, loved all the blues, but they just kind of all look the same. They blended in. This 300 to 400 and 400 to 500 was definitely my most read, so I think in the next year, so this time next year when I do this spread, I will break it down a little bit more here and also make the colors a little bit more distinct. I do like that it kept a theme, like these were all the pinks and oranges and yellows, and this was all the blues and greens, but I just want to make it a little bit more distinct. And then these were all random because it's just by the genre. Here is where we start 2025. I love this spread. I think it's so cute. And as you can see, I started using stickers in 2025 because, let me just turn you a little bit. Do you see? Oh, this is not working. All of these stickers, okay? So I actually got all of these stickers 2 Christmases ago. So I've had them forever, and oop, there one goes. My husband actually bought them for me because he got me a Hydro Flask that year, and I had said that I wanted to decorate my Hydro Flask with stickers. Here's my Hydro Flask. Do you see any stickers? There's one. I did actually decorate my entire Hydro Flask with stickers, but they just came off either like when I washed it or just wear and tear using the water bottle for 2 years. They've all come off. So when I was setting up my like craft corner, I found all of these stickers and I realized I've just been holding on to them for no reason. I didn't replace the stickers on my water bottle when they all fell off, and I just haven't been doing anything with them. I did get them out and decorated my Kindle, but for some reason I've always been this way. I'm so scared to use my stickers because what if I have like an idea later and I wish I had that sticker. I put all of my favorite stickers on here. Like I went through this pack of like, I don't know how many 100 stickers, and I picked out all my favorite ones and put them on here. Guess what? I don't remember what a single one of the stickers looked like. Yeah, they were my favorite, but they clearly didn't stick with me that much. And I think that was my little like wake up call of it's not that big, it's not that important, it's not that deep. So my goal is to use up all of these stickers however I want because they're my stickers and I'm just gonna use them. And if I run out of stickers, I can buy more. Not that deep. So that is why I used that sticker right there. Moving on to my next spreads. Love these. Again, I got all of these off of Pinterest. So I am not the most creative person in the world. I can just copy things that I find pretty and cute and unique. So this is my goals page. My reading goals are to read 50 books, same goal that I had last year. I think it's really attainable for me, just being realistic with the fact that I do have a full-time job. I am a teacher. So I think if I went too much higher, it would be a bit of a stretch, but we'll see how this year goes. I do want to read 2 classics this year, and I already know what 2 classics I want to read, and I'll get into that on this page. Would like to read 2 nonfiction. More than likely they'll be memoirs, but I do like a good self-help book every once in a while. So I don't really know what nonfiction I'm gonna read. I just want to keep that, on my radar. And then my last goal is to complete my physical TBR. My physical TBR is just this one bookshelf. There's not that many books, but if you watched my reset video, I started a Notion in 2025. I started a Notion this year, and one of my pages on Notion is my physical bookshelf, and I'm tracking every single book that I physically own and whether or not I've read it. So all of the books on there that are my books that are unread, I would like to have read by the end of this year. And same goes for any new books that I buy this year. I want to buy them and read them within a normal amount of time. Some of these books I bought at the beginning of last year, and they're still unread on my shelf. And that's what I don't want to happen. I don't want to just buy a bunch of books and then never get around to reading them. So I want to be very intentional with the books that I'm buying this year and make sure that they're all being read pretty soon after I buy them. The 10 books I want to read in 2025, most people would do the 25 books they want to read in 2025. That is just crazy given my goal of reading 50 books. I would have to pick half of the books that I read this year at the beginning of the year, and that's just not attainable for me. I'm very much a mood reader. I just read whatever piques my interest in that moment. So I just picked 10 books, and most of these I would say are books that I either already own or meant to read last year and just didn't get around to it. So they are The Ministry of Time. I actually started this audiobook and I really liked the concept of the book. I just could not stand the narrator. So I'm going to read a physical copy of it. The Atlas Six, that's one of the books that I own and just have never picked up, and I really need to get it read. The Nightingale, I own this one as well. Love Kristen Hanna, but I've found that I need to like space out my Kristen Hanna reads because they're so emotionally heavy. I read The Women near the end of 2024 and I just haven't really fully recovered, but I know soon I'll be ready to read The Nightingale. Rebel Witch, this is the second book in the Crimson Moth duology. I think it's just a duology, but I read, what was the first one? Was it Crimson Moth? Oh, Heartless Hunter, that's what it was. I read Heartless Hunter, ate it up, and Rebel Witch came out in November and I just, no, it hasn't come out yet. That's what it is. It has not come out yet. It will come out, I think in February or April, but I think it's February. So I'm excited to read that one. Sunrise on the Reaping, obviously. Hunger Games is one of my favorite series of all time. I could go on for hours talking about why it's my favorite series of all time. And there's a new book coming out from Haymitch's perspective and about his games. So I'm so excited about that. I already pre-ordered it. I'm so excited for it to get here. I think that one is April. Little Women, this is one of the classics that I want to read. Daughter of No Worlds, this is a Carissa Broadbent series. I have not started it yet, but it's been like, I've had it downloaded on my Kindle for ages, and I really, really loved the Crowns of Neoxia series. I'm still reading that one. And I figured if I love that series so much, I will probably also really like this one. Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow, I own the physical copy and I just need to read it. Persuasion, this is another classic. I reread Pride and Prejudice for like the third or fourth time in December, and I realized that that's the only Jane Austen I've ever read. So I want to read more Jane Austen to see if it's just Pride and Prejudice that I love or if I would love all of Jane Austen's works. And the last book is This Is How You Lose the Time War. I've just seen it a bunch and I think it would be right up my alley, so I'm excited to read it. And that is just in pencil, so I know it's kind of hard to read, but when I complete the book, I'm going to come back and color it in. Cute. So this spread is what's replacing that bookshelf spread that I did in 2024. Again, I loved the idea of that bookshelf, but it's just too much, too tedious. So what I've decided to do is I have 50 boxes on here and I have space for more in case I go over 50, but I would really like to visually see how close I am to completing my goal of 50 books. And I have my little legend down here of every single month, and I'm going to just assign each month a color and color in how many books I read in that month. So I can also kind of see, you know, what months were good reading months for me, what months I kind of either didn't read that many books, and just see how close I am to meeting that goal. Obviously, when I hit 50, if I go over, like this year I read 54, so I would have added 4 more. What is this? Oh, this one. I am redoing this spread. I had so much fun with it last year, and it's just the daily reading tracker. So whatever color I attribute to the month on this page, I'm going to have it be the same over here, and there's just a place for me to color in every single box for each day that I read. As I mentioned, I'm not doing the A to Z reading challenge this year. I decided to replace it with the Reading the Rainbow challenge. I don't anticipate this one being that difficult, honestly, but it might be. I don't know. So whenever I read a book that has a cover that is one of these colors, I'm gonna fill it in, and the goal is to read all colors. Granted, these are just like the colors that I had on hand, and this one is gray. I'm not sure if I want that to mean gray or white. I don't know yet. What do y'all think? Are there more gray books out there or more white books? Who knows? So very excited for that. That is all the spreads that I have completed. So the spreads that you and I are going to do together are my book bingo that I talked about. Very excited about that one. I am going to put in that 2025 at a glance, which was this spread. So all I'm gonna do is do the boxes for each month, and then at the end of each month, I'm gonna go in and fill in the days that I completed each book. And then this page will be open for quotes, because I really do want to be more intentional with writing down quotes that really speak to me. When I have the physical version of a book, I'll underline or tab it or something, but I've noticed that often when I audiobook, I don't keep track of quotes at all, obviously, because I'm just listening to it, and 9 times out of 10 I'm listening to it while I'm driving, so I can't really like pause it and write it down while I'm driving. But I do want to kind of be more intentional with that. And then especially on my Kindle has an option to highlight quotes, and I've just never used that at all, ever, I don't think. So I would like to use it more, and then just put them on this page. I have a cute little idea for how I'm gonna do the quotes, but we'll see. We're gonna do it together, like I said. I think that's all of my yearly spreads, and I'm gonna leave a few pages blank, and then we'll start my January spread. I'm gonna go ahead and probably do the January cover now, but then I obviously won't fill in the monthly like spreads until the end of January, because I don't know what I'm gonna read this month. Here we have my book bingo. Pardon my voice, I've been very sick all week, but I'm over it now, or trying to get over it, but my voice still sounds a little sick and gross, so sorry about that. But here's my book bingo. I did the layout the exact same way as my last book bingo. Honestly, I realized once I was done with this that I actually liked the layout of the one I did last time a little bit more. I feel like I just got a little too overconfident with my ability and my skills, and I just tried to do too much on this. Like, I have all these different fonts, and I put book bingo instead of just bingo, and I don't know. I just feel like this is a little bit busy and the other one was very clean, classic, but it's fine. It's still cute though. So, and I did stick with just the light green, dark green theme. So when I complete this, it should look pretty identical to last year's. Next, we do have this, what is this? Like a calendar basically of every day that I've finished reading a book. So far, I have filled in January, February, and March with all the numbers. I realized I do want the full calendar, but doing the entire year all at once just would absolutely destroy me and my hand. So I'm just gonna kind of fill it in as I go, and this will probably be something that just every time I update anything in my journal, I'll try and come and fill in another month, or just during my monthly resets when I'm filling in my journal, I'll do whichever month it is. So I will label them again with the same color that I'm using on, which page is it? These pages. So like I said, each month is going to get a color, and that is going to be consistent through all of my like yearly spreads, just so I can kind of see visually which month is which and all of that sort of data. So just keep it consistent. And on this side, we have my 2025 at a glance. I actually already started filling it in. I don't know why I did that. I just got excited, I guess. But I do have the pixels for genre, page count, and rating. And as you can see, there's my little keys on the side. I hope it focused. But I am loving this. I think I ended up going with 60 boxes because last year I read 54 and I was able to make exactly 54 boxes. But I just decided I wanted to go ahead and have this spread on there and fill it in throughout the year. So I just went with 60. We'll see what ends up happening, but I think that'll be okay. And I did leave space for another 10 on each one. So if I go above 60, I'll be able to add that in. Cute. I wanted to do 9 like colors for each one, but I don't know what other genre I should put in here because I have all the genres that I normally read, so I just have like a blank box right now. And hopefully throughout the year I will read a new genre or just a book that I feel like doesn't fit into just one genre. Maybe that'll be like a multi or something like that. I don't know. But I thought about putting horror, but I usually just lump horror and thriller together anyway. We'll see. I'm very excited about this spread. This is going to be my quotes page. So I have it very open, and in the middle is like I drew a little book, and it has a quote by Theodore Roosevelt that says, "I am part of everything that I have ever read." And I just really love that because when you're reading, like, especially if it's a good book that you really resonate with, you become part of that book, or that book becomes part of you, and you just think about it always. Like, there are things that I have started doing because characters that I really love did them, or just things like that. So I thought that was a very apt quote to put on this spread. And I am going to do the quotes the same way that I did my November cover. I'll pull that up so y'all can see kind of what I'm talking about. So I'm going to do it like this and have the quote written inside each little color bubble. So I already have one quote on there just so y'all can kind of see what I was talking about. And hopefully by the end of the year, this will be full of colorful little quotes. Last page, this is a spread that I said I was not going to do this year. But I was thinking about it, and I really did have a lot of fun with it last year, and I have extra pages, so I went ahead and did an A to Z reading challenge, but I did set it up differently. So it's the same format as my book bingo, but each box is going to be a different letter of the alphabet, and I'm just going to write in the title in the box. So let's see, I read the 7-year slip. I've read that. So I would count to get to the S, which I think would be somewhere in this row. So like if this one was the S, then I would just write in 7-year slip and color it to kind of match the cover. And I think that'd be super cute. And then since there are only 25 boxes and 26 letters, I think I'm gonna combine either X and Z or Q and Z. something like that, because those I feel like are harder to get. I'll probably combine X and Z, and that way I only have to read one of those hard letters. So those are all of my spreads for 2025. I am just so excited to get to fill in all of these, and I'm very excited for my monthly spreads. I have a few new ideas. It's gonna be mostly the same as my last year, and just like those same spreads with the calendar and the page count and stuff like that. But there are a few new things that I'm gonna be adding, and I'm just excited to see as the year goes on what other things that I'm adding to it, and excited to just fill up all of these spreads that I made and see them really come to life. So I am very excited. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I would love to hear from you guys what kind of spreads you're doing, or your reading goals, or some books that are on your radar for this year, any of that sort of stuff. As always, thank you so much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.